So in a previous video, I mentioned that I am cleaning up my nutrition a lot as we head into the new year. And more specifically, I'm focusing on my macronutrient breakdown, as well as going into a calorie deficit in order to lose some weight and burn some fat and build some more lean muscle. So I wanted to share with you exactly how I do this. And this is the same technique that I use when I'm working with clients as well. So if you wanted a deeper dive into that, let's dive in. So just in case you don't know, macronutrients are basically your breakdown of your fats, your protein, and your carbs, the kind of basic building blocks of your nutrition. Now, depending on your goals, you're gonna split this out differently. So if you're building more muscle mass, generally you wanna add in more protein. So you wanna be having more protein maybe than carbs or more protein than fat. If you're doing something like keto, you're probably having more fat and protein than you are carbs as well. And so I'm just doing a very balanced breakdown. I'm going a little heavier on the protein because my goal is to build some more lean muscle as well. And as you age, especially for women, we need to continue to up our protein, generally speaking, because we're generally not getting enough. And it's important for so many reasons as we age. I'll leave a link to a video explaining why down below. So you know what a macro is, but how do you determine, how many calories you should be eating or what your breakdown should be? Well, there's a simple way to start, and let me show you. Now you can use a simple macro calculator. You can find them online, and basically all you need to do is put in your age, your gender, your goal weight, or your goal actually, and your activity level. And it's gonna spit out really just a baseline number for you. Now, I can hear some of you arguing in the comments. Is this perfect? No. Is it an absolute representation? No, but it is a baseline and it is somewhere to start, because for most of us, most clients that I work with, or most people that come to me, have no idea not only what are they eating or how many calories they're eating, and they have no idea what they should be eating, and they have no idea what the goal even should be. So this is a very rough baseline. It is not the Bible, it is not the Holy Grail, but it is a place to start, and that is what's important. Before you get lost in, oh, it's not quite accurate, or it's not great, or calories in, calories out is not even real. But the importance is to actually just start somewhere. And if you have no knowledge about this, or you don't know anything about what you've been eating, then how the heck could you set a realistic goal to where you want to go? Soapbox rant done. This is how you actually start to calculate your macros. So you can go just Google macro calculator. Here's one here. And let's put in some stats here. Let's say, and put in currently like what you're exercising. So if you're not exercising a lot, don't say that you are, even if you might plan to. For now, let's calculate kind of what your real intake is. If you're looking for weight loss, I usually recommend that you set it at a mild deficit, because it's not going to be realistic for you to have a huge deficit and also work out. So something like this would then pop out a result. And again, you put your age in, you put your gender in, et cetera, et cetera. So for me, my actual goal is about 1,800 to 1,850 calories per day. And as you can see here, you can set, balance, low fat, low carb, high protein. I kind of will be in a range between about 100 grams of protein, 130 grams of protein per day. And I'll just give myself that leeway, because you don't need to be too strict, because again, that's when people fall off. So now that you have a baseline, you can start to maybe track your calories. Now, I like to do this using MyFitnessPal, and I don't have people track for forever. I have them track for about a week or two, just to understand what portion sizes should look like, just to understand what is an appropriate amount of protein for me. So as we're doing this, I'm actually gonna make a meal. So why don't you follow me? Let's go into the kitchen. So like I mentioned, I generally like to use a calorie tracker. It'll track your macros. It'll track your protein, fat, carb, and it'll also track the amount of calories that you're intaking. Now, this is a great thing to do when, again, you have no idea what portion sizes look like. You have no idea like what an appropriate amount of protein looks like on your plate. And then if you want to give up the tracking, that's totally fine. Some people love it, some people hate it. If it makes you push towards unhealthy tendencies, get rid of it. But if it helps you stay on track and it helps you have some clear defined goals, then I say, why not use it? I keep talking about how for me, protein is one of my big goals. And again, if you saw in my previous video, I am also using a protein powder, but various types of lean proteins that I like to use. Chicken breasts, fish, so things like salmon, mackerel, sardines even, actually like sardines, turkey breast, ground turkey, ground chicken breast. I will also eat chicken thighs because let's be honest, they taste better, but at least I will take the skin off. Lean ground beef as well. The world is your oyster. Shrimp, seafood. It really depends on what you like and keeping some variety. If you are a vegetarian, totally doable. You're just gonna make sure that you need to mix your vegetable sources. So, you know, your chickpeas, your lentils, your beans, etc., etc. All great sources of protein. So today I'm gonna make a variation of a butter chicken using a few little shortcuts to make it a little less fattening, a little less butter, and a little bit healthier. And it's served with some vegetables as well. I've got some chicken breasts, butter chicken seasoning. Again, I said we're taking the shortcut here. Some Canadized tomatoes, some tomato paste, and I've got some low-fat yogurt. One of the things you're also going to want to have if you are tracking and you don't know what portion sizes look like is a little kitchen scale. I'll leave a link down below. You can get them off Amazon. I think I got mine from Fred Meyer. It will help you to, if you want to weigh out the food or if you want to use cups or whatever, it's easy to weigh at first, I find. And with your protein, I always do it based on the cooked form versus raw. So with something like the chicken breast here, when it's raw, there's a lot of water in there. So some of your weight is gonna be lost in that water. You're gonna lose some of the volume of your food if you do it when it's raw. So what you need to do, go ahead and cook your chicken in the pan. You can even cook it in the air fryer, but I'm gonna cook it in the pan because I wanna use the kind of leftover fond in the bottom of the pan to then cook our onions and our garlic and create the base of our sauce. The onion is a little bit funky, but that's okay. We're gonna make it work here. It's on its last leg, but that's okay. Oh, the dog has heard that I have a knife. You don't need to like chop it perfectly because we're gonna use the blender to make our like a sauce anyway. And I like a lot of onion and a lot of garlic, but you do want a rough chop so that you can get enough surface area. And I'm gonna take some already peeled garlic because ain't nobody got time for that. And again, just a rough chop. And yep, I'm gonna use all of that because again, I like garlic and onion. Now you're just gonna wanna heat your pan and get your chicken going. So I'm gonna use a little olive oil and just kind of pan fry the chicken. You don't have to finish it all the way through because it can also cook a little bit when you put it back into the sauce. Go ahead and drop your chicken in. Nice little sizzle. And I actually marinated these with a little olive oil and that sauce. I put it in the refrigerator before I went to the gym. And when I came back, just let it sit out to room temp for a little bit. After a few minutes, get it a little flippy flip. And because these pieces are so small, it cooks pretty quickly. I like to use chicken thighs in this recipe usually if I'm not worried about macros because they are juicier. But for today's recipe, chicken breast it is. Alright, now that your cooking is pretty much cooked. Not completely done, but because it's chicken breast, I also don't want to get it to get too tough. So set it aside. I'm going to turn off the pan for a second here. A little bit of oil or butter. Just going to use some oil for now. I will add some butter in a bit. But now go ahead and add your garlic and onion. Kind of start to sweat those down. Now that has sweat down a bit, I'm going to actually deglaze the pan and get all those brown bits. little bit of chicken stock. You can use water or you can just use the juice from the can of the tomatoes. And we want to get all that goodness off of the bottom of the pan there from the spice mix from the chicken. So now that it's cooked down, I'm just going to add my can of diced tomatoes. As this cooks down, I'm going to add some more of that spice mix from the butter chicken. And yep, just going to blend it, literally. And if you need to add some more liquid, you can do that as well. Into the Vitamix. Back into the pan, and then you can taste it and then add your chicken as well. And you're almost done. So you just let it simmer pretty much until it's finished. And that's, well, no, there's a couple more things to add, but we're almost there. To the pan, nice and smooth. So now you can bring your pan back onto the heat, turn it down low. So at this point, you can season it. If you need to add more of the seasoning, I need a little bit of sugar, and I'm gonna add my, instead of butter and cream, gonna add a little Greek low-fat yogurt. Now, once you get it to where you want it, taste-wise, then add back in your chicken and just let it simmer, and you are all set. And then I'm gonna add my chicken back in, and I'm gonna put the lid on it and just let it simmer until I'm ready to eat. So I hope this video was helpful. I hope that you learned something about your macros. It's not scary. If you are looking to clean up your nutrition for the new year, this is a great place to start with working with your nutrition. As always, if you have any questions or if you want to know how to work with me, this is definitely something that I work a lot with inside of my coaching program, the Better Health Blueprint. If you want to get your health and wellness goals off to a great start, I would highly recommend, I'm a little bit biased, but I would highly recommend checking out how to work with me inside of that program. So if you have any questions, leave them down below. Otherwise, I'm gonna eat my food once it's done, and I'll see you in the next video. And I will leave the macros and any ingredients and the link to the original recipe in the description box below. All right, I'll see you in the next one.